Hey guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with JT Cooper. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Missy, and all you listeners out there.
That's awesome. I'm so glad. I know it's been such a great, holiday week that we've had. The weather, for the most part, has been pretty decent. I know that you guys out there in Tennessee got quite a bit of rain during 4th of July. How was that for you?
Man, it was a stormy mess. God put on his own fireworks.
Right? I know. I have to tell you, the fireworks continued yesterday in Nashville, and when I tried to get on my flight home, I definitely got some special treatment because I was a complete baby and was screaming because of all the lightning, and we were stuck in the plane and we weren't allowed to go anywhere, and I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. But that's another story.
Wow. They didn't carry you off in cuffs and a jacket, huh?
They sent me to the cockpit to go sit on the jump seat and have a discussion with the pilot and co-pilot, and that way I wasn't scaring any other passengers. So it's all good. It was fun, but
Fun.
I want to talk about your release of your 2 EPs and your single. You did all 3 at the same time, and I am so. I don't know. I'm so intrigued by this, and what was the thought process behind the release of 2 EPs at the same time and a single? And I want to know how that went for you and how you feel about it.
Well, we did. Mr. No Apology was going to be a release on a single release on an album that we're going to have coming out in September called Coming Home.
Okay.
Now, the fact of the matter is, I've been doing the music thing in Nashville since 1998.
Oh wow! Okay.
Now, up until now, I have just been basically chasing the songwriter thing.
Right.
And when I got out of it, Missy, have you ever heard of the movie Black Hawk Down?
Yes.
I was there.
Oh wow!
I'm a combat wounded Purple Heart recipient. My roommate Jimmy Martin was one of the ones killed. Cornell Houston, was there with me, and I helped try to keep him alive. So when I got out of the Army, and I was 1995, late 95 or 96, and I was dealing with PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up, after a little bout with, suicidal tendencies, I decided that music therapy was going to be the thing that helped get me over the hump.
Right.
So I started doing music, and I matriculated my way down to Nashville, and I've been here since '98 writing songs. And originally I was just shooting to do that songwriter behind the scenes, get some big artist to cut my song.
Right.
I've had some regional cuts, but the big thing about it for me was getting to the point. When you go to AA, the first thing they do is they give you a mentor, somebody that knows what you're going through, somebody that knows what you're going to go through, and somebody that's been there. Well, 20 years down the road, I'm a lot further down that PTSD road than I was when I first came back from Somalia. And what people have been kind of pushing me to do was to get out there and be a mentor on a big level. Because I go to these retreats and we'll bring in wounded vets and people just coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'll spend time talking to them, and everybody's like, man, what have you been? Why don't you do this? And I'm like, well, A, I don't have a PhD. B, everything I've learned is all hands-on, on-the-job training. And I said, C, the biggest thing I've got is the music, and until you've got, some kind of following or you've had some major success, then you've got to have that influence. To do that on a bigger scale, I need influence. And they're like, well, haven't you released your own songs? And I was like, well, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't ready. And they're like, well, you've got these 2 CDs. You've got this single, Mr. No Apology. Why don't we just bankroll it? And that way people can see you've been doing this for a while, and you're not some new guy out of the gate trying to break through as a new artist, but you've got a mission on top of trying to be a quote-unquote country music star. Because that's not really the goal. The goal for me is to gain influence, for veterans so that I can speak to and about veterans, and I can try to help keep some of these guys from falling in the pit hole, the pothole of suicide.
Right.
22 a day is a stupid number, and if I can keep one guy with one song from doing that, then that means as much to me as it would to win a Grammy.
Right.
And going out here, when I go out and do shows, most of the time during the show, I'll stop and I'll say, how many people here know who Amy Winehouse is? Yeah. How many people here know who Paul Walker is? Yeah. How many people here know the name of one person who died for your freedom?
Right.
And 90% of the time, it's crickets.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, if you don't know the name of one person who died for your freedom, let me tell you about my roommate, Jimmy Joe Martin. And for me, the Soldier's Creed says, I'll never quit, I'll never surrender. And then after that, it says, never leave a fallen comrade. So never quit, never surrender is me not committing suicide. I promise not to do that. I battled through it. I got through it. I didn't end up giving into that.
Right.
The next part for me was never leave a fallen comrade. So by telling Jimmy's story and telling Cornell Houston's story, by telling the story of those guys that did pay that ultimate sacrifice, I'm fulfilling my promise to never leave a fallen comrade.
Yeah.
Their memories aren't still on the battlefield of Mogadishu. Their memories are on stage with me when I play.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're the ones that sacrificed to give me my American dream. Yes, I went in the military. Yes, I went to, serve my country. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, the ones who died are the ones that are ultimate sacrificers for our American dream. And you know what? I got to teach my kids. It's never too old to have an American dream.
Right.
So therefore, too old for a traditional record deal. I released a single as an independent artist, and we're going to see where it goes. And I'm going to step out there and open my mouth and talk for vets and try to help as many people as I can get through this old crazy world.
Absolutely. And, you do hear stories about it a lot, but most of the stories we hear about vets are just, the amount of homeless vets that we have. And, I don't think people realize how high the suicide rate is with them. And I think that's so important that you're doing something to combat that, because that's really sad. And that number is way too high. And, I would like to see that no one ever committed suicide. And I've lost people to suicide myself. And it's definitely hard. And I don't think that there's ever any closure, and people never, they never fully get through it and grasp it because they don't understand what was going on that led somebody to that. And so, go ahead.
I've got a psychologist friend that I was recently in a documentary with, and the psychologist said, with the people that he deals with, it isn't that they want to die.
Right.
Most of the people who are suicidal aren't really wanting to die; they just don't know how to live.
Exactly. And
90% of that is hope. And the American dream was all about hope. People, swim from Cuba to Florida. They get on boats. They climb a wall. They come here looking for hope. If America can't help find hope for these people, there's no hope left, because I've been in these third world countries where if they live to see tomorrow, all they got to do is figure out how they're going to eat, so they don't care if they live or die.
Right.
What we were fighting against in Somalia, these guys didn't care if they lived or died, because if they lived to see tomorrow, they just got to figure out how to eat. So, why not just go balls out and suicide by American soldiers? Yeah. These guys, how do you convince a guy to strap a suicide vest onto himself for Allah and get them to blow themselves up? There's no hope. The American dream is hated around the world because we're the ones with hope and they don't. And the sad part is we're not teaching that to the next generation of Americans because we're just telling them this is bad for us as it is all over the world, and we're not giving them anything to hope for.
Right.
That's why that's why all my music, all the stuff I do is going to be about hope and the American dream and patriotism and God and family.
I love that.
That's my goal. That's what my goal with music isn't necessarily to break your heart, but to break your heart to build it up. You know, in the military, when you go to basic training, they tear you down so they can build you back up. Right. And the goal of my show isn't that people come up and ask for my autograph. What my goal is when they come up after the show, everybody, you know, most of the time people's like, you know what, I want you to write down the name of your roommate too, so I can never say I don't know the name of one person. And I'll write Jimmy's name right above mine.
Wow.
And that's the goal. I want people to know, you know, it's a lot different. This single Mr. No Apology is about, you know, there's a line that says, step on the flag, then you'll see you're going to pay a tax for your free speech.
Right.
You're not going to stomp that flag if you know the name of the guy who came home in the coffin that it was draped over.
Exactly.
If I can teach you the name of that soldier that came home under that coffin, or if you know the name, you're never going to step on that flag because there's a reason for it that you don't comprehend. You're espousing a freedom. I got the freedom to stomp the flag. I got the freedom to find. Yes, you do, but you don't have the respect to not do it, and that's the problem.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, I think we've all seen videos, you know, on social media and stuff and people doing things like that. And it's so completely disgusting to me when I see the lack of respect. And, you know, a lot of that is what these people are taught and what they're not taught. And, you know, it's sad to watch, but thank God for artists like you who are standing up and you're teaching people and you're, you know, like, no, this is how it is and this is what we need to do and this is what you're here for. And I really respect that. So thank you. And thank you for your service as well, because, you know, I mean, that's huge. And I think a lot of people take it for granted. And I know for myself, you know, I didn't have it in me to go enlist and join in, you know, any one of our, you know, branches of military. I am not that kind of, you know, I don't have that kind of strength. I don't think I could have handled that well. So thank you. I got to give you credit for that because that can't be an easy decision. And I know for you come from a family of military. Your father and grandfather were both in the military, were they not?
My grandfathers both were. My father was not. My grandfather on my mother's side was at Pearl Harbor, and my grandfather on my father's side was in Europe.
Oh, okay.
And so I had it from both sides of my family, but my father didn't serve.
Okay.
But I have an uncle that did. But that's neither here nor there. The point being is, it's not what we teach the next generation. Mm-hmm. And I remember my grandfather always said, if you want the American dream, you're going to have to serve it.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Well, that was great advice. I love that. And your mission, you know, you have a mission video, and I watched it on YouTube, the mission part 1. And you read the eulogy that you wrote for your friend. And it was a very, very, very deeply emotional video, but it was beautiful. And I remember, you know, I watched it and I couldn't help but feel. And I'm not sure if that's the reaction you want out of people, but you're getting it, and it's amazing. And you can't watch that video without feeling something. And it was very moving, and I wanted to just compliment you on that, because I think you're doing exactly what you're setting out to do. And I don't think anybody who listens to this conversation is going to forget the name Jimmy Joe Martin or Cornell Houston. I don't think that, you know, anyone could after hearing you talk about them. And I think that's I think that's great, and I'm sure that, they're sitting up there watching over you and smiling, knowing that you are not leaving those fallen soldiers behind, and I think that is an amazing thing, and I'm so proud of the fact that I get to talk to you today, and I'm so honored that you're talking to me, and that I get to, hear these stories, and I know it's emotional, and how could it not be? It's definitely an emotional, thing that you've been through that most of us will never know. And so I just want to thank you for that.
But I appreciate you saying that. And I honestly don't do it. Thank yous. And I got invited today to speak to the Rotary Club here in just south of Nashville, and I had 2 state representatives in there. And the thing I talk about all the time is the mission. What's next? We got to give these guys a mission.
Right.
When these guys are coming back, they're going from being a hero to being a zero. The ones that can't find a job, they can't find a job. They go from being the hero of their family to not being able to support them.
Right. Right.
They come back and they go to a job where they were willing to die for a flag and the Constitution and their buddies on their right and their left, and then they're standing on an assembly line watching go down the line for $10 an hour and a paycheck on Friday, and there's a hole there that they never are going to be able to fill because they know what it's like to serve something bigger than themselves.
Right.
And they can't quantify that when they're at home. And it's just the day-to-day life of making a paycheck. So what I'm trying to do, and again, the one thing that I'm going to keep talking about till the day I die is how I had to find a mission.
Right.
I was going to die if I didn't find something to do that was bigger than me. And I didn't know at the time. I knew it was a mission. I had to find a mission. Mm-hmm. But it took me a long time. And you asked earlier about the 3 CDs.
Right.
I mean, the two EPs and the single all at once, and what the thought story was behind it. It's not like the story is I've been doing this a long time. I'm just now kind of trying to step out into the light because I'm just at a point now where I finally worked it out for myself that I can try to help others.
Right.
And I may not have a PhD, but I've got proof that I've been working out I've been crafting this message for a while.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I'm trying to get at, is that we wanted the history. We wanted to show that there was a history here that wasn't just my first single. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just my first release. It wasn't like this is some new kid on the block that we're going to throw this on the wall and see if it sticks. Right. This is what I've been doing for years, and now it's time for people to listen.
I love that, and I think it's incredible, and I think it speaks volumes, and I think you're right, and I think this is the way you had to do this, to get people's attention and to really like bring them in and be like, look, your guys' focus has been elsewhere, and this is where it needs to be, and you guys need to see things for how they really are. I think that's great. And I'm so excited that you're a part of Heart Songs for Veterans as well. It's a cause that we at Center Stage Magazine talks about all the time. We love Jill Pavel. We love the group. We love what it stands for. We love what you guys do. And I want to know for you, how has partnering with Heart Songs for Veterans, how has that been for you? How has that experience been for what your overall goals are?
Well, for my overall goals, being in Nashville, mm-hmm. Jill Pavel has got a heart for veterans that I want on my team.
Right.
I've been in Nashville for 20 years, and everybody that comes, everybody in my little clique, when somebody comes to Nashville and they're a new artist or they're a potential artist, and they're like, well, you need to get with JT and write a patriotic song. So they come in, they do their little thing, they want to write a patriotic song, they want to do something, to salute veterans, but really they're only wanting something to put on their resume that says, hey, look, I support veterans, I got this one song, but look, I'm a potential superstar, I gotta cross that off the list, and I gotta, pay my dues to veterans.
Right.
I get tired of those guys just wanting to check it off the box and not really understand why they need that song for veterans or they need that patriotic song. They just want something to have on their resume, and that bugs me. It bugs Jill.
Right.
She gets these people in there all the time that want to be a part of Heart Songs, and then 4 or 5 months down the road, it's not about helping veterans. It's about what can you do for my career.
Right.
That's the difference. The difference is whether you are mission oriented or whether you're just looking to put another bow on your package.
Exactly.
And for me, I don't like the bows on the package. I'd rather hear something. I would rather open the package and the content be good than to just see a pretty cover. I'm old enough now that like I said before, I can't get I'm not set up for that traditional record deal. I have a wife and 7 kids. I'm not going to be anybody's heartthrob. What I do musically.
But you're your wife's heartthrob, I have to tell you. That you got to know that she probably looks at you and what you've done for your family and your country and what you continue to do for your fallen soldiers and everything. Oh my gosh, that you are definitely your family's heartthrob. So don't discount yourself there. I'm sorry, I had to jump in and say that because.
Oh, you're fine. I tell people all the time it's a lot different to go for a horseback ride than it is to pick the stalls, and she picks up my underwear. So, but,
you're funny.
So you gotta play to your strengths. And I, look, my family. I've got a wife and 7 kids, and 3 of which are adopted. I serve. My wife is the head of the Tennessee Foster Parent Association. We serve. That's the whole point of our life together is around service. It's around what we do for humanity,
right.
and ultimately, I don't like to hit people over the head with the Bible, but the Bible says if you seek first the kingdom and all these things will be added to you. We don't look at what's the bottom line, how much money can we make from this deal, or what.
Right.
We just get up every day and we try to go serve, and ultimately, always, the money has always kind of took care of itself. And,
right.
and we, that's not our ultimate goal, and I don't think Jill's ultimate goal. And the reason I wrote Heart Songs, Jill's ultimate goal isn't about whether or not she gets rich with this. It's about what she can do for veterans.
Right.
She does the dog thing. She does the service dogs for vets. She does the trucking for vets. She does all these different organizations. My number one priority is a soldier's child. Have you heard of a soldier's child before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, let me explain. A soldierschild.org is my number one charity that I deal with. What we do at a soldier's child is if your father or mother was killed on active duty, we are going to buy you birthday presents every birthday till you're 18. We're going to get you Christmas presents. We're going to bring you to journey camp. We're going to bring you to hunting camp. Last fall, I went to a hunting camp, and there was 4 teenage girls there that all killed a deer. Their mothers would never have been the one to take them hunting.
Right.
Their dad would have been.
Right.
These girls went out and went to hunting camp with us. We got out and took them into hunting and fishing camp. They go out and they go deer hunting, and they were just so excited because we felt like we were with our dad. We put them with a guide. We put them with a mentor. We put them with this person. We took them hunting. They go out and they kill a deer. They go out and go fishing. We try to mentor them in a way that their dads would have if their dad or mom was still been here. These kids, we have 2,600 kids in our program from all over the United States. When a soldier dies, that family has 45 to 60 days to leave military housing and go back home.
Yeah.
This kid leaves Fort Drum, New York, and goes back to, Peoria, Illinois, goes to school with kids that have no idea what they go through.
Right.
They have no one at that school is going to be able to relate to the trauma that this kid just went through of losing their father.
Right.
When we do these journey camps in the summer, we bring these kids in from all over the United States and put them together for a week to let them build relationships so that when they go home, they've got a new Facebook buddy or a new pen pal or a new person that when they're having a bad day, they can call each other and say, man, I really miss my dad today. Yeah, I understand. I get that. They've got that person that's been through the same thing they've been through. So we try to help them pair up at these journey camps. So a Soldier's Child Foundation is my number one thing because I love kids. I'm all about the foster kids. I'm all about that's my thing. And I do a lot of veteran stuff around, other charities, but I would say my number one charity is a Soldier's Child.
Well, that's great.
That stuff, that's raising awareness to things like that.
Right.
That's another reason why I felt like it was time for me to come out of the songwriter shadows and take a step up on a stage for a minute. And it's not about my ego; it's about what I need to say about the voice. Does that make sense?
It's about using your voice and what God gave you to help others and to bring awareness to things that, I mean, it's really sad, but it's true. And, people can write in if they disagree with me, and I'm totally cool with that. But I think as a society, if you're not directly involved in it, it's one of the out of sight, out of mind problems that we have. So many people just carry on with their own business and they don't think about others and they don't take notice of what others are going through. And I'm not saying that, they're doing it on purpose or being rude or disrespectful. It's out of sight, out of mind, and it's sad. And I think that we get... go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that we just get so caught up in our own lives and what we've got going on and what we're doing that we overlook or underlook, as some people say, other situations that are affecting others. And it's, it does need to change. I think people need to open up their minds and their hearts a little bit more to what their neighbors are going through.
Well, and when you break it down, everything, don't matter how much money, you're never going to take that money with you to the grave.
Right.
You're never going to take your house with you to the grave. You're never, ultimately, when you go, the only thing you're going to take is your integrity and your character.
Yeah.
And really, that all depends on how you spent your life. And if it was all about you, I don't want to die and there not be 5 people at my funeral. Right. I want to have served enough people that when I die, I'll be missed. And that's, I know Jimmy was missed. I know Jimmy. He's my make it worth it guy. I get up every day. Have you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is, in any movie, not just Saving Private Ryan, but at the end of the movie, Tom Hanks' character is dying on the bridge. Mm-hmm. Matt Damon's character comes up to him and he says, "Make it worth it. Make what our sacrifices here. Make our sacrifices finding you for your mother. Make it worth it."
Right.
And Jimmy's my make it worth it guy. Cornell's my make it worth it guy. I get up every day knowing the person's name that I have to try to emulate to make it worth it.
Right. Wow.
So I've got it a little easier than some, and harder than some. So it's a matter of perspective.
It is, and I try to tell people that all the time. I'm a mom of a special needs child, and there's a special needs community, and then you have, people will always take anything that you go through and say, and they give you all this credit for, you have the patience of Job, or I don't know how you do that. I could never live with that. I'm like, well, but you do things that I could never handle. We all have stuff. We all have things that, other people don't feel that they're strong enough to handle or whatever. So for you, I'm thankful that you are who you are and that you're able to do the things that you're doing that others can't do or don't want to do, because I think it's so important what you're doing for those kids. It's amazing. And, the story and the sacrifice and the loss that you've suffered, I couldn't have handled that. And you're going to laugh at me, but I always give credit to the septic, tank guy too. The one who pumps those things, I got to give him credit too, because there's something, that is something I could never do. So I get what you're saying, but we all have things. We all, everybody has challenges in life. Everybody has hurdles. Everybody has strengths, and everybody has weaknesses. And it's about finding what those are for you and living your life to the fullest with, with what you've been given. And you're doing an amazing job. And I mean, it's not going unnoticed, definitely. And our readers are going to get to know who you are, and our viewers are going to get to know who you are, and they're going to hear your story, and they're going to remember, Jimmy. They're going to remember Cornell. They're going to remember you. They're going to, they might be inspired to go watch Black Hawk Down again, and they might be inspired to go watch Saving Private Ryan again, just to feel again. So that's something you definitely need to feel proud of, that you are doing what you're setting out to do, and you're doing it well. And man, thank you for that, because the world needs more people like you, JT. Definitely.
I'm just, as Mr. No Apology says, I'm gonna keep on being me. That's all I want to do.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Is there anything else that you want to tell everybody before we go?
www.jtcoopermusic.com.
Awesome.
I need downloads more than I need T-shirt sales right now. I need, it's the voice is. I mean, there's so many things that is messing with music right now, but I need the $1.29 digital download more than I need a T-shirt order. I need people to vote me on the island. I need people to help me get on the show. And music is only that people are only paying attention to the numbers.
Right.
And as sad as it is, I can't sit down and buy 1,000 digital downloads, because once I've bought it, I can't buy it again.
Right.
So I need every digital download I can get. Every one is going to mean something, and every one's going to count, and that's going to help me tell my story.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to help you tell that story, and we're going to post all of the links on our site for you as well. And man, just, keep us informed, keep us updated. Anytime you have anything going on, let us know, and we'll keep help promoting for you, because this is definitely, your story needs to be told by everybody. Everybody needs to hear it. They need to hear it. They need to share it with their friends, all of that stuff. So you guys, you have to log on. You have to follow him. You have to do everything on social media. Download that song. Download all of them. I mean, you have your 2 EPs, and you have, Mr. No Apology. So everybody get on there, download that, and definitely we'll talk to you again soon, JT, and we wish you all the best. And just, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep being you. We love it.
Thanks for the time, everybody. I appreciate the audience more than they will ever be appreciated, I promise.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you have yourself a great day, and I feel so blessed to have talked to you today. So thank you so much for blessing my life as well, and you have yourself a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Missy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.